Hello, hello, hello. So, on today's little short solo dolo podcast episode, I'm gonna keep it short. I think I just wanted to hit on something that I think needs to be talked about. I just got through I was a guest on a podcast, and we briefly talked about it there, but I wanted to talk about it here about you needing to feel like you're worth doing the work for on this spiritual awakening and ascension path, because it is work, it does require work, and it's something that you have to be in it for you have to be in it for the long haul. You have to be in it for, regardless what kind of obstacles or challenges or adversity comes up along your path, you have to be committed to this process, even when you don't see the progress. And I mentioned this on a previous solo podcast, but I wanted to kind of give the example of, a lot of times there's people who've come up to me, and they couldn't understand how it is that I've continued to do what I am doing against all the odds, against all the things that seemed really, really terrible, against all the things that a lot of people would not have continued to push forward through. And the answer for me is just because I wanted it. I wanted my freedom so bad. I wanted to be out of the Mariana Trench, the Challenger Deep of the abyss, so bad that literally nothing else mattered. And that's the same thing for you. Like, you have to want to get out more than anything. You have to want your soul's freedom. You have to want your soul's growth. You have to want, you know, the best for yourself and your life above anything else, regardless of what may come up along the path. And that's it. I mean, it just was the sheer willpower within me that kept me going through a lot of the things. And I mean, if all of you could be able to see the many times where I was sitting in a hospital bed, with my phone recording, what I would call my last will and testament of things. And I had a lot of those. And for those of you that don't know my story, I have a lot of those video clips where I was in a hospital and I didn't think that I was going to be leaving in a physical body. I had a lot of those trips to the hospital where I really did not think that I was going to make it. And the thing that kept me going through those really dark times was, number one, my unwavering faith in God's source universe. And then number two, my desire to be free, and knowing that, like, if I tap out now, I'm going to have to come back in another incarnation in this physical life and resume where I have left off here. And I didn't want that option either. And so, you know what I mean? Like, when I looked at both of the choices, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and like weighed it on the Libra scale of justice here, like, which one do I not want to experience more? Do I just want to deal with the shit that I got going on here now? Or do I tap out and then just like resume this in another lifetime, but like at the same spot? So, you know what I mean? Either way, like, I still had to go through it at some point in order for me to get to the promised land, to cross the waters of Minnetonka, and so the failure was not an option for me. Quitting was not an option for me, and giving up was just not the option, because there, again, even if I gave up in this lifetime, even if I tapped out in this lifetime, the next incarnation that I physically incarnated here on this planet, I was gonna have to like resume position from wherever it is that I tapped out at. And it was in a terrible spot. So like, if it sucked then, it's gonna suck now. Wait, if it sucked now, then it's gonna suck then. So regardless, I was hoed either way. Yeah, it's just that realization, God source universe. I tell y'all, God source universe really has a a sixth sense of humor. But God source universe gave me the lowdown and was like, that's fine. You can tap out here. You can let this physical vessel die right now. But when you incarnate again, in a physical vessel, you're going to pick back up where you left off here. So like, don't think that it's like, oh, well, let me tap out and then I'll just start over. Like, again, no, at the same age, at the same spot, like you're going to have to go through this. And I was, so I, once I weighed the things up, I just decided, let me go on through. And again, that's only if your soul has chosen this ascension path. Is this only if your soul has chosen to become its highest form, and not everybody chooses it, but for the ones who have chosen this, please know that like there's no getting out of it in any incarnation. Like, you're gonna have to put in this work at some point in time. And speaking from experience, I always keep it a buck hundred with you guys. Speaking from experience, it's gonna suck, but like, it's gonna suck regardless when you have to go through it. And it sucks even more to not progress. I tried that option as well, and I don't recommend it. Staying stagnant and just like looping the same, I always say, evolve or repeat, just staying stagnant and settling and trying to like force yourself into an area, a place, a position, a lifestyle that you've outgrown, like that you're no longer compatible with, just because you don't want to do the required work and steps, or let go of whatever is required to be let go of to ascend to that next level, whatever you want to say here. Your soul suffers and then starts like clawing at you from the inside out, and then it becomes an almost unbearable burden on you, and then you got no choice but to go. So you're literally just torturing yourself the longer that you try to fit into the whatever the case may be that you've outgrown here, whatever timeline that is, whatever lifestyle that is, whatever relationship that is, whatever the case may be here. You understand what I'm saying? The longer that you try to like prolong the agony here, is literally, that's all you're doing, is prolonging the agony, and the agony before the agony before the agony. And that's crazy work. That's crazy work, because like, if you gonna suffer, you might as well just go on through the stuff that you're trying to prolong from. Just get on in it. If you're gonna suffer either way. You're gonna suffer when you're not doing the work to get into your freedom, to get into your highest version, your higher versions of self, your highest timelines, your higher timelines, those higher relationships, those higher frequencies, those higher vibrations, the higher energies. You're torturing yourself to just try to stay stagnant. You might as well go ahead and put in that work to become those higher versions and to have access to those higher energies, frequencies, destinies, and timelines, and people, places, and things. Like, you need, but it has to be this. That's that free will. And free will may or may not be an illusion, but honestly, there is, from where I stand, from the seat that I hold, we cannot interfere with people's free will choices and decisions. Like, you have to consciously make the choice every day to say, okay, I'm going to take this exit today. I'm going to decide to put in the work today and every day thereafter to try and become my higher self, or to try and achieve a better lifestyle for myself. But you ultimately have to be the person that makes that decision to do it. Like, God, source, universe does intervene in numerous occasions. That divine intervention takes place. Those tower moment events take place. Those really soul shattering things do take place. Like, when you have just like very much kicked and screamed and like done everything that you possibly can to like delay there being any progress whatsoever in whatever you're supposed to be doing. That's when those like tower moment things happen. That's when God, source, universe comes in with the like the FBI kicking in the door, like, freeze. um yeah, but you don't want to wait till that happens, because like I said, it's not good. It's not a good experience that happens when God, source, universe has to come in, because you chose, your free will decision was to choose to not do the work, but your soul has already signed on the dotted line on the contract to do the ascension process. You don't want God, source, universe to have to come in itself to come round you up, because again, you get the sword rammed up your ass for that one, and it's not a, speaking from experience, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Don't do it. Just go on ahead. If you feel it right now already within you that there's something you're supposed to be doing. There's some place that you have outgrown. There's some, whatever the case may be, do it, because you signed on the dotted line for that. And again, this doesn't apply to everybody. Not everybody signed on the dotted line to be a part of this ascension process, to go through the awakening, to try and reach their highest soul's potential destiny timeline self. Not everybody signed up for that, and that's fine. But I'm speaking to the ones that have. If those of you who have signed on it, the clock is ticking. Really, the clock is ticking, and you're running out of time to do the decision on your own. But before God, Source, Universe kind of comes in with the swift kick of justice, with a very sharp sword that gets rammed up your ass for it. Don't wait. Don't wait until that happens, because again, then everyone's always afraid. They're like, I'm gonna lose everything. Like, you lose everything when you literally have waited until God, Source, Universe has to come in and snatch you up out of wherever it is that you weren't supposed to be any longer. That's when those things happen that you're afraid of happening. If you had just prepared, if you had just done the work to prepare in the process, then it's not so bad. But like, when you just dug your heels in and refused to do anything, you refuse to even like consider a plan, you refuse to do any kind of like prep work or anything of this nature, like that's when you run into those situations of like, nah, I'm gonna lose everything. Like, now you are, because God, Source, Universe is over it. They sent you the carrier pigeon and told you like, hey, TikTok, time's up, type of situation. But you didn't heed the warnings, and that's when those things take place. So I just wanted to, like I said, I made this little short thing about that, and that's pretty much about it. But I hope that was helpful for whoever needs to hear it. And stay tuned every Tuesday for a new episode of Ascension with V. And you can apply to work one-on-one with me with the aforementioned links. I guess they'll be in the description box. I'll put it in there. And I'm going to go lay down, because your girl is wiped out from a lot of spiritual work that has been going on, and changes and things that are taking place within me. And, yeah, so I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna go lay it down. Until next time, peace, squad.